Hi, I'm Constance. I'd like to thank you for joining me here today on this very important topic for Chartered Institute of Teaching Specialists, and that is creating a first-class learning experience. As a teacher, your responsibility is to understand that where teaching occur, learning is also expected to occur. If teaching did not occur, it means the teacher was not in class. But you see, the teacher can be in class and teaching occurred, but the learning never occurred. And so, as a teacher who is looking forward to remedy your teaching experience, making sure that learning occurred where teaching took place is your responsibility. And it is one of the four cardinal responsibilities of any teacher that is certified and chartered by the Chartered Institute of Teaching Specialists. Your guarantee to be a member of this institution is complete only when you become a teacher who makes learning to occur anytime you teach. Look at someone and say, learning occurrence is the most important detail and due diligence of a teacher. And so we are taking this session on the contemporary teaching learning experience architecture. And please, it's going to be about 35 minutes or thereabout. Please make sure you finish this video so that you can get the whole detail. Your promotion, your respect, and your dignity on the job as a teacher is tied to you being able to guarantee learning occurrence where teaching took place. And learning occurrence is therefore the most important detail, the most important thing that can happen in your teaching profession. And I'd like to quote Albert Einstein. Let's take it from a very long time. He says that if learning isn't an experience, whatever else it is just information. Do you agree with that? If learning isn't an experience, whatever it is just what? Information. And you understand how boring information can be when you're listening to late night news. And so I'd like to also quote one person, John Smith. He was very, very instrumental to establishing current day United States. It says there is no such thing as failure, only learning experiences differ. So the issue of learning experience, as far as we are concerned, is not something of today's practice. It's being an old practice. And so, ladies and gentlemen, therefore, you have to understand that number one, students do not have business with schools. Students do business with the teachers who guarantee learning experience. They have business with their favorite teachers. It is the favorite teacher that becomes the man or woman who guarantees learning experience. Look at someone and tell him, students do not have business with schools. Students have business with a favorite teacher. Number two, I'd like you to understand that students' learning experience are the only evidence of your teaching quality. The student's learning experience is the evidence of your teaching quality. If the student says he hasn't been taught, it means you were not in class. Even if you were not in, you were in class, you were a statue in that class. Because anyone who experiences your teaching must therefore believe that you were in class and that learning happened, and that's why it says it's an experience. And so look at someone again and tell them, students' learning experience are the only evidence of your teaching quality. And so number three, I'd like to bring to your notice that the true worth of a teacher, therefore, is measured by the value of his or her students' learning experience. There's a statement or a popular statement in Italy that says, if the student says he hasn't learned, it therefore means the teacher hasn't taught. But in our nation, if the student says he hasn't learned, my teacher, your teacher would say, nonsense boy, you play too much. But in Italy, it said, if the student says, I don't know it, it means the teacher didn't teach it. Being in class or not being in class don't matter, notwithstanding. Meaning the student's learning experience, the ability of that teacher to smile this way is because he has guaranteed that the students learned what he taught. And they know what he taught. Next, I'd like to let you know, therefore, that what is learning experience? Can we define what's learning experience, therefore? Learning experience is defined by the Glossary of Education Reform to mean learning occurrence where teaching was said to have taken place. It means learning experience refers to any interaction, course, program, or other experience in which teaching took place and learning occurred, whether it occurs in a traditional academic setting, either school or classrooms, or non-traditional settings outside the school, locations, outdoor environment, or whether it includes traditional educational interactions, students or professors, or non-traditional when it comes to training and development. And so learning experience is learning occurrence where there was teaching occurrence. If the learning did not occur, it means the teacher came to class to just make a noise. I remember my first time of having to understand what really goes on in a mathematics class. I realized that a good number of the teachers who had taught me math based on my experience were actually speaking to themselves, not me. Because when I finally understood how maths worked, I became the best math teacher, not for my teachers, but for my fellow students while in university. Why I finally understood how to make maths, the learning in maths to occur. For example, all of you know what it means to say find x. Am I correct? Hello? That's a very serious construction and confusion for a lot of people. X is looking at you on the table or on the screen and they say find x. If you don't know how to make learning occur in order for x to be something that someone can find in an equation, it becomes a trouble. And so learning occurrence is your key to delivering a teaching experience. If learning did not occur, based on this definition, it means you were in class to just make a noise. And so in order for you to make a learning occurrence design, they let you know that learning is a science. That's the first thing they teach you, that what? Learning is what? A science. Today, there's a lot of learning technologies that can be used. And that's why, if you see the way cartoons are created, a child that is small, young child, is able to understand the whole detail. Just a child. You would even ask yourself, how is he or she hearing the English that is being spoken from the cartoon? Ladies and gentlemen, the learning experience that was designed has been able to capture the interest of the child in order for them to be able to learn through that cartoon. If a child takes your phone and goes to where cartoons are, he hears what they are saying. He knows the series that will come after the first. That's because learning design also affects the way technology is designed for people. Next is for you to understand that learning design also requires design thinking. How do people think in order for them to understand information that is being passed? One day I was in a teaching session with a school, and this school is a very, very massive school in Oyo State. If I mention the school, a lot of you will know the school. Okay, it's good because it was a teaching session. It was a training session for their teachers. It's called Genius International School. You know Genius International School. And then I asked a very simple question from the math teacher. I said, what is the purpose of simultaneous equation? What is the reason why you teach simultaneous equation? And he says, well, it's for the students to understand how equations work. I said, no, the reason why you teach simultaneous equation because of the design thinking of the people who designed simultaneous equation is for the responsibility of what's called balance when you are multitasking. Ability to do something on the right side and something on the left side not suffering. That's the reason for simultaneous equation. And so the child who would master the act of design thinking, I mean the people who design simultaneous equation from design thinking is such that the child can master the act of multitasking while being in school. And so in case you were here and at the time simultaneous equation was being taught at school and you couldn't function to produce answers for simultaneous equation, you might have issues with double tasking now or multitasking. So you must understand, therefore, that if learning occurs to the students you taught simultaneous equation in their greater life, in their afterlife, or their after school life, they will have the ability to make multitasking something they enjoy because they have learned it. What is the purpose of a quadratic equation? You don't know. The reason for a quadratic equation, because everything else is up. Am I correct? Is to bring issues that are up down for better solutions. And so design thinking requires you to understand that people who designed mathematics, English language, and all the rest of them have put the learning parameter of the student in order for a future skill to be mastered while being in today's class. Are you still here? Are you still here? Yes. Number 9 is for you to understand that it's about knowledge harvesting. The child is going to what's called knowledge harvesting. He's moving from what he doesn't know to what he now knows. No, that's not knowledge harvesting. Knowledge harvesting is moving from what you don't know to what you now know to what you now do. So once learning occurs in a place, the child moves from not knowing to what? To doing. That's why the person who actually knows wants to teach. The person who knows better wants to teach. Well, that said, I'd like you therefore to know that in today's contemporary world, when it comes to learning experience, that there are 8 things that the African teacher must go through. 8 things. Number 1 is to understand that the child needs what is called confidence to learn. The student needs confidence to learn. The classroom, the people you are training, requires you to guarantee that the confidence to learn will be there. Is that okay? You know, when you were in school, the teacher probably comes to class, and while in class, while just stepping away from the door into the classroom, there's a sense of fear that grips you. Am I correct? And then he goes something like this: you stand up. You don't do that in my class. Walk out. I said out. Now, when you hear such and you see such, what happens? You're already afraid. Am I correct? Am I in a learning class right now, or I'm in a prison? So the first thing you guarantee in order for learning to occur as a teacher is for learning confidence. The people you want to teach must be confident that it is learning you came to pass, not fear. Number 2 is what's called child security. In case they don't know and they can express to you that what you taught, I don't think I know it, are they going to be punished? Will they be willing to pass their information about what they don't know to you and they feel safe? Can the child or the student walk to you later and say, please, I think I don't know this thing? Would they be under punishment or under severe bad look to say, you're a lazy boy, you're next to nothing, you just want to waste my time? Next is to understand how adaptable is your learning or learning parameter or teaching parameter to technology. When they get home, what they watch on television, will it reverberate or revisit what you taught at school? The other one is to engage in what's called teaching excellence parameters. Then peer engagement. What you taught, will it make the peers to change their line of play? Because sometimes a teacher should teach, and therefore what the people used to do or what the students used to do, the pattern of play changes. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can engage in teaching where it changes the thinking pattern and also goes to change the pattern of play. Next is for your understanding that every learning experience causes what's called academic performance. Can they regurgitate what was produced? Can it make them to be confident for the exam? And then finally is class, or what is called career classification. Will this make them to look forward to a better career in future? If all these things are put together by you as a teacher, then you are on your way to becoming a teacher who makes learning to occur in the classes. Now let's take them further. In order for learning to occur, I'd like to bring to you the Glossary of Education Reform, and then this is based on the UNESCO research about how the school you went, the environment of the school you went. Are you still here? Yes, hello? Yes, the environment of the school you went, the teaching pattern or the teaching capability of the teacher, and the peers you're in class together, how they affect your results in life or in school. No matter how dilapidated that school is, that classroom is, no matter the village where you are teaching, they don't have chairs, they don't have quality infrastructure to learn, but they have a teacher in front of them. That infrastructure, that dilapidated classroom can only contribute at the most 17% to the success of the child in view of academic performance. Are you shocked? Are you shocked? That's why I personally went to a school where villagers call a village. You don't understand what I just said. I went to school where villagers who are in the village, in case you are looking for my hometown and you come to this village I'm talking about, this village is a village, then those villagers will ask you, are you going to that village? That's where I went to school. But you see, it don't matter now because some people might even think that I have an accent. True or false? Because the environment of learning can only contribute at the most 17% to the success of the child. Now, 17% away from 100%, this child still has an A to fight for. Am I correct? Am I correct? Next is for you to understand learning experience or the learning excellence of the teacher. The teaching quality of the teacher contributes to at most 62%. Meaning if a teacher is well engaging and learning occurred where he taught, the student is already guaranteed of at the least 62%. Now, if his teaching is so classy to the point that it causes learning experience to happen, the students themselves can engage to what he has taught, and peer engagement can cause the most 31%. So 62 plus 31%. That's over 90%. Meaning, if a teacher does so well by his teaching quality, the students can forget the environment in which they are learning and then also forget the peer who causes them to learn poorly. So, success, as far as academic success is concerned, is all tied to the responsibility of learning excellence. Is that okay? Is that okay? So you can see that the learning environment, 17%, learning excellence, which is from the teacher, is 62%, and then peer engagement is how much? Is 31%. And so that said, therefore, learning excellence, therefore, starts from the teacher's sense of identity. Learning experience or learning excellence is therefore beginning from work, the teacher's sense of identity. And that's why I said what Emmanuel taught us the last time is the best relevance of what we're talking about here. Because without a sense of identity, you can't bring your sense of what to work. Am I correct? Hello? Your sense of identity will propel your sense of worth, and it goes to propel the teaching paradigm we are talking about, and then it goes to improve your offer of value. What we said in the beginning, that the teacher's offer of value is identified by his detailing of his teaching quality. Next is to understand, therefore, that teaching excellence, therefore, is your identity plus your sense of worth plus your offer of professional value. Then you guarantee what? Teaching diligence. That's what causes what? Teaching excellence. That goes to affect that 62%. So if the teacher doesn't have a sense of identity, where he feels that life has treated him so well to be a teacher, he is not going to feel himself having a sense of worth to be in a student's class to pass information. Am I correct? That's why you see a lot of teachers would say things like this. It's not your fault. It's because of this. It's because of this. It's because of this. For God's sake, the people you are teaching are either way above you or way below you. Am I correct? Or you are pairs together. This life gives equal opportunities to other people. You are in a career to make the next generation better as a teacher. And so your sense of identity is key. And then you can say you can guarantee teaching excellence. Well, for the purpose of the people who might understand this scale we just spoke about, well, your sense of what is moving away from being a snail tracker. A snail identity. You can see this snail, he wants to move faster. Is that okay? And then he goes to tell the man who is an arrow shooter, please tie an arrow on me. And then he goes to tie tires on his legs so that he can move faster. Because you need to rejig your sense of identity in order as a teacher to move up to a sense of teaching excellence. That's what I'm saying. You need to rejig your identity in order to move up to this level of teaching excellence. That said, I'd like you also understand that it's about this man who wants to also fly too. So without this, your desire to improve your mindset about what you do as a teacher or as a trainer, you may have problem becoming the teacher that is liked. You may have a problem becoming the teacher that is accepted in the classroom. Now, that said, I'd like you to also understand that providing first-class learning experience is a choice between a frustrated teacher and a teacher who celebrates. Because just like I said, when a teacher says, I don't blame you, it is life that makes me to be in your classroom. No, that teacher is not probably, he doesn't know his job. He is showing his frustration to the people who don't even care. Am I correct? Next, you understand that it's about creating a high road or a low road experience. You are the one who decides to either go through the high road or what? The low road. It's your responsibility to decide which road leads to your own destination. Because we understand, therefore, that anywhere you are, in any organization you are in, is customer first. Am I correct? And if it is customer first, who are your customers? It's the student that's a customer of the school. Am I correct? It's the primary customer. The secondary customer is the parents who pays for the service. And so it's customer first. And so you must therefore know it's between frustration and what? Celebration as a choice. Next, you must also understand that you must avoid the all motion, no movement mentality as a teacher. All you want to do is go to class, show up, and get out. You want to be the normal experience of a lecturer in our universities and polytechnics, where the lecturer's responsibility is to show up, and if you like, don't show up. And when he comes around, he can even joke with you and then goes out. Am I correct? If you like, go and read. And so you must understand, therefore, that being a teacher who guarantees learning occurrence is one who believes that all motion, no movement is no movement at all. It's called the rat race. Next, I'd like to let you know that whether you are looking forward to the high road or the low road is your choice as a teacher. It's your choice. It's your choice as a teacher. The child may not be able to. Okay, there are schools now where if you are not teaching well, the children can actually report to you and they'll sack you. Am I correct? There are schools like that now, and so you must understand that it's time to make a decision about moving from just being a teacher who comes to class or the teacher who makes learning to occur for the students. In doing this, it's about you becoming either the oh my God teacher who still goes into his staff room to get frustrated, or you become the thank God teacher who is happy for what they do as teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore want to talk to you about the paradigm shift we talked about. Remember in that circle about your sense of identity and sense of what we talked about what? Teaching paradigm. Let's talk about the paradigms that need to change. Number one, it's a shift. It's a shift. Because if you don't shift your mentality, your paradigm hasn't changed. What are the shifts you are looking for as a teacher or trainer for you to possess? Number one, it should be a transaction paradigm that shifts to what? Relationship paradigm. You've got to have a relationship, no matter how minute or small, with the people you teach or the students you engage with. Is that okay? If you are not willing to guarantee happiness for yourself and for others, happiness will be scarce for you. Happiness is a choice. Next, you have to understand therefore that it's about not just about service offering, it's about what? Student engagement. You must be able to engage students to be happy. They must feel the sense of worth, the sense of value for coming to school today. If the child finds it difficult to wake up and go to school, the teacher caused it. Is that okay? School must be something that someone called a student should be willing to engage, willing to be next time. When my child was in primary two, I really enjoyed that teacher. Now, it's not me that the teacher was teaching. I probably don't know that teacher. But the way my son would say, I'm going to school, I'm going to school, I want to go and meet my teacher. He's going to teach us today. That's what is called just not offering a service, but what? Student engagement. I also believe that it should be about teaching quality to what? Learning delivery. Not just guaranteeing teaching quality. You remember those teachers who would come and speak very big verbose to us. Verbose means big English. You understand what I'm saying? People who speak like Obayagbon when it comes to English, the peripheral echometric molecules of this important squabble. What have I said? And you're using students that are not of your class to speak such. Why? Because teaching quality is not in your ability to tell the students that you have crammed all the dictionary in the world. Is and was are still the best way to pass information. Am I correct? And so you understand that learning delivery is your take-home pay. Learning delivery is your thank you for doing the job, because your paradigm has shifted from teaching quality to what? Learning delivery. And so the question you have to ask yourself every time you're going to class is this: do I just want to teach, or I want learning to occur? It's about learning delivery. Next is for you to understand that the school that employed you, or the government that employed you, had made a promise. Hello? And that promise has to be what? A consistent experience. And so, how do you feel about a school who goes to say something like this? Who does, I don't know if you have been to schools where you see this, you enter their staff room or you enter their waiting area, and you would see a very big billboard showing some pictures of students where they would say, Christy and A2, JAM. Am I correct? 394. And then they start listing a lot of names, you understand me, based on the pictures that show. Am I correct? Do you know what I always go and do to the people, or the people at the desk room? I mean the desk. Hello? These are numbers. These are probably 32 students in your class that are on this picture. Was it 32 of your students that took the exam? How many of your students took the exam for which these 32 are displayed? Sometimes they'll say, well, they're about 50, they're about 60. Okay, so if 60 people wrote an exam for which 32 students were successful, and you are using a lie to make us believe that your school is doing well, rather than telling us very squarely that this school is 52% of success. Do you understand now? Some would say, well, they were 40. Okay, you are 65% successful, and you are telling us, what about, who do we throw those other 15, students to? Or those other 30 people, in case they were 30 students. Why? Because consistent experience is what guarantees success. Do you understand what I'm saying now? This school, 20 of them wrote JAMB, and 10 had 300. And the other barely had 200. And those 10 people make it to your billboard. You are deceiving us. Because there's no consistency with the learning experience. Hello? It may even be that those students who passed, the reason they passed is because there's a learning experience that is external to the school that the parents must have engaged. Is that okay? And so, in order for you to be a teacher, a consultant, a trainer that has great experience with your clients, you must understand that that experience must be consistent. Are you still here? Next is what? What is the reason why parents want to bring their children to your school? Not just parental satisfaction, because your school is close by to their office. Or when they are going back home, they can quickly brush by and pick their children. What are the attributable benefits to learning occurrence? Because the teacher, hello, is the father of the child in the school. The teacher is the first formal leader of the child in the school. In case the attributability of why they engage your school is because it's close by and all the rest of them, are you sure this child is not suffering because it's in your school? Because of time, I'd like to say that in order for you to guarantee learning experience, you must move away from students' loyalty to what? Students' preference. You know, remember those teachers when we were in school whom Who forced us to be loyal to them? When they are coming to the class, you sit down. I mean, you behave yourself. Not because they deserve it, but because you don't want to be punished. Am I correct? Hello? They make sure your breath ceases a little bit when they come to class. When it comes to class, he comes with a bundle of cane, of water cane. Am I correct? And then when they come, they everyone, if you drop a pin, you'll hear the sound. Why? Because there are people who use some form of fear to guarantee students' loyalty. But there are some other teachers that when they come, my boy, how are you? How's everybody today? Before you know, the whole class is full. Attention is wrapped. Why? Because they believe in what? Students' preference. If the student does not prefer you, hello, you are a bully. You may not just be using canes. Say it again. If the student does not prefer you, you are likely a bully who may not just be using cane. So student preference is very, very key for who wants to guarantee learning experience. You must wake up to the paradigm that no, I'd like students to prefer me as their teacher rather than just guaranteeing their loyalty. Next is for you to understand that you move from being an effective class manager to an inspiring leader to your class. Sometimes it's better to tell the student, in order for me to come and teach you this, I woke up 3 a.m. in order to master this. So that they will understand that when it comes to success and preparation, you need to wake up early. Not because you woke up early, actually, but because you just want them to know that you are an inspiring leader. You inspire them to do the work. Is that okay? Unfortunately, a lot of us who are in this room here today are people who understand how the teachers we used to have then will teach us what they taught 20 years ago in the name of a lesson note. Am I correct? The topic or the paper or the notes they want to give us in class was once given to 15 years ago class. And that's what they want us to learn from. No opportunity, no proof that they've gone to research more or to improve on the knowledge based on new technological advancement or the realities of life. Are you still here? Is that not correct? And so a teacher must be one who is willing to become an inspiring leader to his students. Finally, therefore, because of time, I want you to understand that a teacher who engages in control and authority will not be a person of influence. That paradigm of relying on control and authority, I am your teacher. If you don't listen to me, I'm going to deal with you here, must stop to one who requires to be a person of influence. I'd like to ask you here, how many of you do have teachers that you felt like when you grow up, you'd like to be like them? The answer is no. Am I correct? Because they were not persons of influence. They were not people you could believe in. If you go to take a training in an organization, after you are through, would you be able to inspire people to your own side and say, when I grow up, when I master this art, when I master this skill that was passed to me, I'd like to be like this person. Without that, ladies and gentlemen, you are just a noisemaker, not a teacher. And so an inspirer is a person of influence. Number 9, I'd like you to understand, are you just about covering the curriculum or you are becoming a learning model? Because some schools, the teacher says to me, I don't have a time. Please, keep that question. Please, let's get what we are doing. We've got a lot to cover. Haven't you found such teachers before? We've got a lot to cover. Please take this note down. Because they are not just learning models. They are what? Curriculum managers. They are curriculum coverers. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, the fact is that if you don't understand, systems, technology, and equipment and lesson notes only deliver stereotypes. Only deliver stereotypes. In order for you to be a person who makes students first, there's just only one thing you do. And that question is, what kind of a teacher goes beyond providing teaching to delivering learning experience? Are you here to understand it? What teacher goes beyond, I'm in class today, I'm through with my class, I'm going back to the staff room, the teacher who delivers learning experience, in order for the learning to continue with the students? Well, I've got information to show you here in that regard. How can you create, therefore, a fantastic learning experience for the students? Number one, there are 3 dimensions of learning experience. You have what's called parental, you have what's called pair, and what's called what? Academic. There is parental, there is academic, and there's what? Pair. The other one is career or work based. But because of the class we are taking right now, that does not matter. What matters most here is how academic and peer learning are fused. Is that okay? Okay. Now, you must understand, therefore, that if we are talking about creating a fantastic learning experience, we first of all must talk about teaching formats. How many of you are aware of what is called lesson notes? Some teachers come to class and what they teach you with is what? Lesson notes. And there are these other teachers that we really like so much, they come to class with nothing. Am I correct? And they just start dishing the notes to you from their mouths. We call them freestyle teachers. Then this other one we are teaching is called the learning experience design. So we want to talk about how this lesson notes, freestyle, and learning experience design affects the teacher's delivery. Now, learning experience is also called instructional design or completion strategy. Someone say instruction design, or completion strategy. Lesson notes are called instruction design or what? Completion strategy. It is in our nation that is called lesson notes. In other climes, it is called what? Instructional design or what? Completion strategy. And the methodology of lesson note is this. It is recommended that novice learners move from worked examples to partial solutions and then to conventional tasks as their expertise develops. Essentially, if you are using lesson notes, of all of us who are pass-through teachers who use lesson notes, what do they teach us? They teach us fully worked examples, am I correct? And then they do partial solutions, and then they ask us to go and do conventional tasks in the name of assignments or exams. Am I correct? Hello? They show you how it is worked, then they do it halfway and say complete it. And then they give you a complete one where you work it from beginning to the end. Am I correct? That's how they teach us, true or false? Okay, they call it go through. Now, according to what there's this program that was done in the year 2015 by a very popular organization called Blackboard, and the theme of that program is called Innovate and Educate. This is what he had to say. He said, if you utilize this as a teacher, if you want people to know it from you, then halfway, you do it halfway and they know it, and then you do it and I ask them to go into writing an exam or an assignment because of what you have taught them using the lesson note. It says, unfortunately, there is a 53% learning gap. How many percentage? 53%. If you remove 53% from 100, how many percentage do you have? Meaning when a teacher comes to class with lesson experience or lesson notes as the basis for teaching, he is going to deliver at most 47%. Now, we have not factored in the learning environment. Hello? We have not also factored in the peer who might be disturbing you from distracting him to learn. Now, imagine a teacher comes to class, he's already 47%, he's already less than average. It says that teaching will occur using the instruction design strategy, but learning may not what? Occur. You see the problem we have in our nation? Okay, the reason why this particular research concluded this is because a lot of teachers believe that there are some people who are pragmatic learners, some are activists, some are reflectors, some are theorists. They actually classify learners on the basis of 4. Number one, that some people, they learn by feeling, practicality, and experimentation. Some are activists, they are doers. Hello? Number 7, next is that some people, they watch you to do the thing, and then some of them are thinkers, are conceptual. But I'd like to ask you truly, if you have a class where everybody is this, I came to class with this mentality, who will learn? Or if every person, majority of the persons in the class are here, hello, and you came with your teaching parameter as this, who will learn? Okay, let's say it's evenly distributed. We have 5, 5, 5, 5 for the 20 persons in class. And you are teaching from here. How many people will you have taught? Only 5 people. Is that okay? And so you realize that the lesson note who classifies people based on their learning parameters doesn't actually work. Now, instructional design strategy that I talked to you is this. Remember the lesson notes. Hello? The lesson notes that was here, what does it guarantee? Assimilation. Meaning you have to say A for apple, B for ball, C for car, for the person to use assimilation to learn here. Is that okay? Freestyle is about reproduction. The way he said it is the only way you are going to regurgitate. Am I correct? Then the learning experience design is what actually will guarantee not just knowing, but what? Exam success. If you engage in assimilation, what are you doing? That's why if you engage in assimilation, the lesson that you used to teach last year, you bring it to class this year. Because what you are guaranteeing is what? Recycle. The child can only recycle. You can, as a teacher, you can only recycle their information. Is that okay? And so, I'd like to say thank you for watching. Now that you have understood that lesson notes may not be able to deliver the opportunity to be a teacher of class, you can therefore now learn the area of learning experience design to be a better teacher. Thank you for listening, and God bless.